many times do we think, I mean, I don't even know what I'm talking about, honestly, right at the moment. I really don't. Um, but I know I got to make a video today, and um, sometimes just by virtue of doing the thing, it comes to us, right? And just by getting into motion, getting out of the way, just getting just getting in the place where you're talking, you're expressing, you're moving things forward. That's how you get into this momentum. That's how you find the words. Just like, if you don't know what to do in life and you're trying to solve it logically, a lot of times that'll trip you up and you'll get stuck because you're not moving anymore. You're trying to figure it out logically, right? You're going this way and that way and that way, this way. Instead of just making the decision to act and taking the immediate step that's right in front of you, right? Because as you do that, the territory becomes more and more revealed to you. There was this game that I used to play on PlayStation with my buddy back when we were kids, and it was called Command and Conquer. And in this game, you're at war with each other, right? And you're trying to build up these armies, and you're on different parts of the board, and the whole board it starts off as black, right? And you can't see the whole board, you can only see this little part of the board you can see what's around you when you start. And the more that you send out your armies, to explore, you could start to see the territory, right? So you send off one army, he goes this way, and you can start to see what's over there. Oh, there's an ore field over there. So let me start, collecting ore so I could get more money, and then I could build planes and stuff like that. So that's the whole idea, is just take the first step in front of you. You can't see it from this very hyper-focused little bubble that you're in where you are. But as you just take that first step, then you're here and you have more of the territory that gets revealed, and then eventually more and more gets revealed. It's like when you're trying to sit in the pocket and you're trying to figure out what the whole board looks like, you just get paralyzed. And it's an easy way to sink into despair, right? So just focus on taking the first step. That's what I'm doing right now with content. I don't know where the hell it's going. Yeah, and I know I feel the worst when I'm thinking about what offerings I'm going to make, what lead magnet, stuff like that, rather than just being let me just make the next video about that idea that I have scripted out, or just making talking videos that don't necessarily need to go anywhere, like this one. Just getting in the habit of talking to camera and doing it in a natural, spontaneous, and free-flowing kind of way, rather than something that's scripted and a bunch of pressure, and it just has this other feel to it that I don't think resonates as much with an audience than free-flowing content does. I guess what I'm trying to say, the takeaway is, it's okay not to know what to talk about, or where you're going, or what your purpose is. It's just, do you know what the next step might be in front of you? And if so, just do that thing and pursue that, and then see what happens from there. And guess what? If it doesn't work out, it's okay. You could always backtrack, or no harm, no foul by pursuing that one thing. You didn't really sink much into it. Now, if the one thing is let me buy this $20,000 course, all right, you might want to think about that a little bit, because that's a big one step. And if that doesn't go anywhere, you've sunk $20,000 into that. I'm sure you'll probably still learn something. And that's the thing, when you that's the thing that's so valuable about taking that step, about becoming a man of action. Even though these small incremental steps, it's that you're entering a process of feedback, right? So you're learning something, either you're failing and then you're learning, or you're saying like you're learning that was for you, and now you're learning that you want to do this other thing, or what have you. But you're always learning something. You're always getting some type of feedback. Whereas if you just stay here and you're trying to like sit in the pocket and you're trying to like plan everything out and see the whole board, you're not getting any feedback, right? That's like the enemy. And it reminds me of what I heard Jordan Peterson say this one time. And it's like, you wanna, wish upon a star, right? You're looking up at the heavens, right? And you have a dream or a vision, right? And so the thing to do is take that one step, right? So it's like, from vision is like that one dot. So you go that way. And then you have whatever you learn from whatever. And then maybe you go this way. And then that way. And then that way. And you're zigzagging your way. Maybe this one fails, but you learn something. And then you take that next step. And that's good. And it brings you up closer to your ultimate vision in the sky, right? But if you don't take any action, then you're not going to zigzag anywhere. You're just doing these gymnastics in your mind, and you're not getting anywhere. And that's why you could feel stuck, like I did for so many years of my life. It's because I wasn't really taking much action. But then once I started taking action, going on sabbatical, a 3-month sabbatical after 10 years, that became available to me at work. Nobody had to push me to do it. I was like, yep, I'm next in line. I'm good. I'm going to go. So like at least I had that initiative. Whereas like one of my colleagues became eligible for that sabbatical and he was just like not interested. I'm like, no, not only was he not interested, but he was thinking about foregoing it and just like quitting. I was like, bro, that would be like the worst thing ever. That would be like almost like you're given a lottery ticket and then you're like, nah, I'm not interested. I'm good. Be like, what do you mean you're good? Like you are given a 3-month paid sabbatical from work to go do whatever you want, and you're not interested. You're gonna kind of let that go unused. If you're unhappy at work, it's fine. Take the sabbatical. Think things over. Think about what your next step. Explore some different avenues, and then come back and quit. But don't just up and quit. So, as I started taking action, took the sabbatical. A year later, I decided to leave my job with severance. As I started pursuing content creation, started making videos, started zigzagging my way. I had no idea where I was going. I had a vision for where I was headed. I knew what I wanted that next phase of my life to look like, but I had no idea, and I had my reservations on how to get there. But the only thing that I could do was start taking those next steps and hope that I'm zigzagging my way to where I ultimately want to go. So I hope you find some of that helpful. I'm just kind of wearing my heart on my sleeve and letting my authentic thoughts just kind of show very unpolished, and just hoping that they land with someone out there, and that you find them relatable and maybe of help. That would be my highest pleasure, to know that they landed, connected, and maybe helped make a small shift in how you think about things, or just that would make me very happy. So until the next one, be well.